Yeah, Unai Emery wanting his side to write history by producing an epic comeback against PSG. Coming back from a 2-goal deficit, by no means impossible. Teams that have done it to progress 14 times, though PSG have won their last 13 away games in all competitions. They didn't play over the weekend either. They've had 6 clear days. The former Villa striker Gabi Agbonlahor remains positive.
I think we've got a chance. I think it'll be very tough. I'm not going to be deluded, especially after being in PSG's home ground for the game. They are unbelievable, Andy. I was like, in the crowd, and I felt suffocated for the players watching. It was like everyone behind the ball, full-backs were flying forward. Mendes, left-back, scored the 3rd goal. Whenever Villa won the ball, it was like, okay, everyone's back defending. You see what they've done to Man City well, and Liverpool. Outstanding team. It's going to be very, very tough, mate. But Villa go out. If they do, no problem. Been an outstanding.
Yeah, but you don't want them to go out, are you?
No, of course. No, you want to go through, but this is the best team I've seen this season. It'll be very, very tough. So worst case, we go out. Every Aston Villa fan will stay together and then give these players and manager the biggest round of applause.
Joining us for more on this now, European football expert Kevin Hatchard. Morning, Kev.
Good morning, Kev.
Morning, guys. How are we?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, mate. Look,
brilliant, Kev.
Villa have been great at home this season. PSG, that's an amazing stat, isn't it? They've won 13 away games on the bounce in all competitions. Do PSG have any obvious weaknesses, Kev?
Well, I think the real weakness they've had, and it's run all the way through the season, is probably a lack of a clinical edge at attack. Now, that seems crazy when you think Dembele scored better than a goal a game in 2025. They've got Barcola, they've got Kvaratskhelia. But certainly earlier in the season, when they were in danger of not actually making it out of the league phase in the Champions League, that was the issue. They were dominating games, they were playing well, and they weren't scoring goals. That's the thing that's changed of late. But you know, even in that first leg, they missed some opportunities. We certainly saw that against Liverpool, didn't we, in that first leg? They completely dominated that game. Alisson had the game of his life, and they really should have put that away, but they lost. So, and the other thing I think here as well is if you tie in last season, where they played Dortmund in the semis, absolutely should have gone through. They should have battered Dortmund. They were the better team across the 2 legs, but they hit the frame of the goal 6 times, and they missed lots of chances. So if Villa can get the first goal, that might just put a seed of doubt in there and get them looking at each other. But look, they're a very, very good side these days.
I've got to say, Kev, I mean, I was in the stadium in Paris for both games against Liverpool and indeed Villa, and they just look the real deal to me. We always talk about, or we talk often about timing, particularly in tournaments, and I just think they're hitting top form at the right time. I mean, the boys in the middle of the park, the possession of the ball they have with Neves, Vitinha, Ruiz. But do you know what goes relatively unmentioned, Kev? We talk about the front 3, tremendous skill. I think they might have the 2 best fullbacks in the world, mate.
Yeah, I think Nuno Mendes has really improved. I think we always knew at Sporting that he was an explosive fullback, really good player, but I think he's really come on. And I think the development of Hakimi is fascinating because working with Antonio Conte at Inter in that title-winning team, I think, was the making of him. Because at Dortmund, he was, you know, really attack-minded, really quick, worked really well with Jadon Sancho. We knew that he was great going forward. I think Conte, working with him, taught him the defensive side of it, taught him a bit of timing about when to go, when not to go, and all that stuff. He's still very, very attacking. But yeah, they're a real threat. And when you've got that front 3, those fullbacks flying forwards, I think William Pacho's been a really good signing for them. He was phenomenal in the season that he spent with Eintracht Frankfurt. I couldn't believe how quickly he settled at Eintracht Frankfurt. He was brilliant. And so I wasn't surprised when one of the big boys took him. And he's been great. So, you know, there's not many weaknesses. The one thing I would say, Donnarumma, if you can win some set pieces, if you can send the ball flying around his head for a big guy, I think he can look really uncertain in those situations sometimes. But yeah, it's a tough one.
Let's move you 24 hours further on, Kev. Obviously, Real against Arsenal. Arsenal going there with a 3-0 lead. All sorts of stuff coming out of Real Madrid at the moment. Obviously, Mbappe sent off at the weekend. Stories of a bust-up between Bellingham and Rudiger, Florentino Perez going to Alaves on Sunday. And I mean, look, he's older than me. He doesn't need a 3-hour trip or whatever, does he? So how bad is the mood at Real at the moment, or is it being exaggerated by the media in this country?
I think it was a shock what happened in that first leg at the Emirates, no doubt. I think you look at some of the Spanish media coverage of it, and I think they were surprised by, I mean, one publication described Real as having melted. But, I mean, how many times are you going to be on the wrong end of 2 free kicks like that? So I think what was more alarming was not the fact they conceded 3 goals. It was the fact that after the opening exchanges, they didn't look like scoring that often. I thought, but Arsenal could do that to you because they're one of the best out of possession teams in the world. But I think one of the strands of the coverage in Spain that's been really interesting is how much they believe there's a comeback possible. One of the publications talked about the Bernabeu as being the factory of the impossible, and that nobody believes in the Champions League and what they can do like Real Madrid do. And you've got the evidence for it, because you look at that tie they had against Manchester City when Rodrigo scored twice in a minute, and they should have been out of that, 99 times out of 100, but they came back. I think the issue they've got really is that they can be really open at the back, and I think Arsenal will get chances on the counter. I think that's the real problem. But do I think Real Madrid could score a couple of goals early on? Yeah, because you look at the quality they have going forward. Once they're on it and once they swarm a team, even a team as good as Arsenal at the back, they can do that.
Just a quick one, Kev. How big's the task for Harry Kane in Munich?
It's big because I think Inter are a fantastic team. I think they're so cohesive, so well organised, so well coached. But he has had big games in the last couple of big chances. In the last couple of games. I did the Klassiker in Germany at the weekend, and he had a couple of chances that he'd normally snap up, and he didn't. I think Bayern will make chances. They've got to be so clinical on the night, because Inter, I think, are one of the best teams in it. I think they're really, really well balanced. They've got the defensive side, but they also have that front too.
Kev promises to be an absolutely fantastic week. Enjoy it.
Enjoy, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Ben from Birmingham's given us his view tonight. He said, boys, anyone can be beaten at Villa Park. The place will be bouncing. We have the best goalkeeper in the world and the second most successful manager in European knockout games. Watch this space. Talking of watching spaces, coming up, could we see Ali McCoist heading to space? He's gone pretty much everywhere else. I suppose if there's a game going on, we'll find out next.
That's what we do here at TalkSport. We make the news and we break the news.
TalkSport Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the TalkSport app and on your smart speaker. TalkSport.